Everybody got their drinks? What are we drinking? Huh? What do we got? Carrie, where's yours?
A mimosa.
Got it. I'm about to go get it.
Yeah.
Let's go get that.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I just want to update you guys that not only is it a beautiful Sunday and we're celebrating our mothers, we also had a dope ass free live concert from the dopest mother queens ever, Jill Scott and Erykah Badu. And then also we are in another celebration because it is our 1 year anniversary. WMB turns 1. Oh my God.
Hey.
Y'all, we just want to thank y'all again for the support. It's been a long journey, and 1 year is just literally doesn't even scratch half the surface of the late nights, the random conversations, the awkward disagreements that we've had. And like to see the support, it means so much. And I know that they are grateful. I know that, it's going to get better, especially when we start releasing toxic. I'm sorry. That's I know I'm tripping. I'm sorry, y'all. I think it's the mimosa. Written and created by Elijah Samuels. And we ready, y'all. We turned. But yeah, we can't wait for you all to see the web series that we've been working on, and then of course it's going to transition into my web series once I get done writing it, and it's going to transition into Kev's projects as well. So you will be seeing a lot of us probably within the second half of this year. We're not going to say the beginning because it's kind of trash right now, but going into the second half and definitely into 2021. So we just want to thank y'all so much for being here. We have a total of 9 people, and that was our intention. We wanted to have 9 and up, 10 and up, but we're just grateful. Hey, Teresa. Hey, FH, who's still connecting to audio. I'm T. Nice to meet y'all. Hopefully I get to see y'all faces one day.
My name is Elijah, and just jumping on what T said, yeah, we've been really working hard this past year with writing to shooting and to even post-production where we get to editing and everything. It's just been great, the progress we've made within this past year from doing our reviews from us. That was like in around this time like last year.
Yeah.
And this is how far we've come, so I'm just really happy. I'm glad you all have come out.
Yeah, so especially on Mother's Day, but this
right.
is a type of Mother's Day, so here we are.
Turn up.
Cheers to everyone. Yes.
Every mother.
Yes, every mother, auntie, godmom, sister, mom, stepmom, whatever. Like a mother is a mother, and it comes from all types. Come on, Black women. What's your shirt say, Carrie? Black women are for grown-ups. On me, on game. Okay, okay, for grown-ups. Okay, no child's play. Not at all. Not at all. So we have 2 more minutes. When everybody gets situated, feel free to turn your cameras on. The more facial expressions we get to see through these conversations, the more engaging it is. No pressure. And we got a nice little agenda. I know everybody been catching up on Insecure, and we got another episode tonight. It's about to get even litter. So, yes, we down to 1 minute before we get started, and Kev is going to take over. In the meantime, everybody's drinking.
Before I take over, yeah. For those that are new, continuing the introductions, I am Kev, one of the writers of the gang, and I will be your host for the celebration, the brunch.
The brunch.
Right.
Carrie, what you eating over there? Your turkey sausages? My nigga, I know, because I be knowing your kitchen. I know it's in your kitchen, okay? I know it's in your kitchen. All right, who got 110?
Oh, I was about, okay, all right. Well, welcome everybody to our Zoom room brunch. It's our birthday celebration, and I'm trying not to drink anymore. Okay, so little ground rules for everybody that's new to the Zoom. you guys are returning, you should know. Everybody's on mute at the moment, except FHU still connected to the audio. I don't know what's going on there. But when you want to chime in, raise your hand, give the thumbs up emoji, and we'll get to you. You can unmute yourself. You don't necessarily, I don't have to unmute you. You guys know how to do all that, so we're good there. Somebody else is popping in.
Nice.
We have another member. Hello.
Who is that?
I can't see.
It's Whitney.
Whit! Hey, Whit! Can't hear
I
you.
hear you.
You gotta unmute yourself.
Hey!
Hey, Whit!
Restate all of them again.
Oh,
How
Whitney.
you doing? As you can see, I'm having all the trouble. But how
Hey, y'all.
Just swap you up.
You right on time, boo. You right on time.
Yeah.
Yep, so I was just kind of going over some ground rules of the Zoom. Basically what's gonna happen is everybody's gonna be on mute. If you do have something you want to say, you want to chime in, just raise your hand by putting the little raise your hand thing or dropping the emoji. We'll pop you in, or you can unmute yourself. Like I said, I'm probably not going to, I'll just let y'all unmute yourselves when y'all want to do that. And, you can speak your piece. This is an open discussion, so, chime in.
And it will be recorded for our YouTube, Kev.
Yes, that is true. We will be recording this for YouTube. It was supposed to be on Facebook Live as well, but technical difficulties. We'll figure that out later. But it shall be lit. It shall be turned up. So, shall we move on to the first topic, gang?
Let's get it going.
Sit first. E, what you doing? Yeah.
I'm here.
Yes, Whit.
All right. So, first topic on the agenda is story. When we talking about insecure. So, T, you look like you got a lot to say right now. I'm just gonna let you go ahead and get this one.
Well, I mean, I know I want everybody to chime in, but let's just start from the beginning. I think this is such a very touching story to me because I straight used to have a best friend that I was like tied to the glued to the hip with. And when we started to go on our own personal journeys and we started noticing that we were thinking different, talking different, and we had different interests, it started to get extremely awkward. And it was one of those like growing pains within the relationship that was putting a lot of strain on it. So for Issa to like come back and like start off the season and saying like, yo, I don't fuck with my best friend anymore. It's like, bitch, why? You know what I'm saying? Like what had happened? Like, are you serious? And I think that's so good because so many people, especially now in today's time and society, especially like with everything that's going on, this is the time to reevaluate friendships, reevaluate ourselves, reevaluate like, shit that's just not working for us anymore, and it's uncomfortable. And what a perfect time to see this on television with women that look like us, talk like us, sound like us, that go through the same shit that we go through in our perspectives and find a way to navigate through it. But that's my thing. And I have one question. This for everybody, a real ass question. Was it Issa parking space or was it Molly parking space? But we'll get to that later.
It was definitely Issa parking.
It was Issa.
Like, that's
like,
not the shit pissed me off. I'm bet you was gonna have to like fix your shit anyway.
No negotiation.
Who does that?
Like real talk. So what does everybody else feel about the story so far going into season 4?
Well, I want to say this. I took a break on Insecure.
Nigga.
So if I low-key didn't see season 3, and then like season 4 popped up on YouTube, and I was like, well, it's on YouTube for the free. So
hey E, how you remove the host?
I know, right? Delete this.
Look, for everybody that does not understand, your boy did not have HBO. I had a bunch of other things I was subscribed to. I was like, look, HBO really ain't popping for me right now. And I just didn't have it. But then the plug came through and I was like, thank you. But before that, they put it on YouTube, season 4, episode 1. And when it popped on, it was like, I ain't cool with Molly. And I was like, wait a minute, what did I miss? What happened? I got to go back. What's going on? Like, this is new to me. Like, how we go from here from last time I seen it. I was like, wait a minute, give me some backstory. Give me some what happened, shade and shenanigans. I need to know what happened.
Yeah, I think that was new for all of us. I wasn't expecting that either. But as I'm looking, at the episodes for this season, it really looks like Molly and Issa are really going their separate ways as far as growth, and that happens with people, Some people, end up still keeping their relationship tight as they grow together and be their individual selves, but that may not be for everyone.
That's true.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Nobody chiming in? Carrie?
I would say that I don't know. Sometimes I feel like Molly's relationship with Issa is more on like an enabler. So she's like that type of friend that needs she needs a friend that is doing worse than her in order to feel better. And so we see in this season 4, in my opinion, Issa is like grown in levels that she hasn't in seasons 1 through 3. And so now we seeing like she's in a level where she's comfortable with her sexuality. She's comfortable in her career and her passions. And at the very moment where we see Issa develop to this character that we've been wanting her to see, where she doesn't need Molly as much, you see Molly, it just seems like she's irritated in seeing her friend's success. And so just, she seems like an energy leecher to me. Like she leeches off of energy. That's Molly.
Crazy that you Go ahead, Whit. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
No. Nope.
Well, I had a question because, like, me and Carrie are cool. But, so actually, literally, one of our other mutual friends, Carrie, said the same thing before I watched the last episode. And so I was kind of, went in with that mindset. But after watching the episode, I don't know if it's that or if they are so used to seeing one another in a certain light that they can't get past their old version of each other. Because even Issa said some stuff like, girl, like, don't scare him away. Like, like, you always doing that Molly stuff or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it was like, Molly has been changing as well. Like, even with the guy at work, like, she kind of been working that stuff out.
Yeah.
But I think they can't personally see their new selves. So they've been friends for so long.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. That's really good. Like, you so caught up in thinking that you know a person so much that you don't even give them the space to actually grow into something else. I get that on so many on a lot of levels. But there is like a and it's so funny because like watching this literally reminds me of me and my former best friend. Like, that's kind of like how it was. If you notice, Molly is more aggressive than Issa. Issa doesn't really want to have much of a like discord with her. Like, she kind of pulls back on a lot of stuff. She'll go to another person and be like, hey, do you did Molly say anything? Or, like, they don't like Molly, like Issa doesn't really want to come to Molly with like, this is how I'm feeling. Like, I mean, they did in the grocery store. She was like, they was both like, yo, what's up? But at the end of the day, you could tell like Issa doesn't really want to lose a best friend, but in the same sense, like it's just like built up energy, especially like when they were on, what was it, Thanksgiving, and it was just like they missing each other. They kind of like, I'm gonna just do this and I'm not gonna make it, and it's just like it's a build up. But I feel like Issa don't really want to express how she truly feels like the way Molly did. Molly kind of set that standard and was like, I care about this relationship, and I'm sorry, friend, about your little project or whatever, your little block party. I can't support you. Oh, how y'all feel about
little project, that little block party?
Like, she kind of gave me that energy. She kind of gave me that energy a little bit. She was kind of like, this my first boo. Like, can't really fuck with it right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's that's my opinion. Anybody else got opinions?
Yeah, to kind of piggyback off what Whitney said, I do feel like it is some growth on both their ends that, like you said, just because you've been friends for so long, you're so stuck with them being a certain way, you can't see that growth. So it's clashing. you're growing, and instead of growing together and better as friends, you're kind of growing apart because you're still stuck in that former self. And it just kind of reminded me of something me and you talked about a while back about, being stuck in the shell. And when you finally breaching out that shell, realizing certain things have to be left behind because they don't fit that vibe that you've been reborn into. So that reminded me a lot about that conversation we had. And that's kind of how I see the situation going with them, is just like they're both growing and going into two different women, and it just doesn't mesh well with the, why is Whitney on two? But it doesn't mesh well. It doesn't mesh well with where they're going in their lives right now.
Yeah. So I got a question. This is to everyone. Do you feel that it's messy that, well, coming from Molly's perspective, do you feel it's messy for Issa to be working with Condola, even though she hella with her ex nigga?
No, I don't think it's messy because it didn't start off that way. It started professional, like they was working on the block party, and what's her friend, the light-skinned one? I can't remember her name right now. Amanda Seals, messy ass Amanda Seals character, come out of nowhere saying, I guess I should have told you. I was like,
that was messy as fuck. Like, friend, like you that. But also in Amanda Seals, in her, defense, she thought that they went out on a date and that was it. She didn't know that they were like straight boo babe the fuck up. Like, she didn't know. But also, you should tell me.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
so I don't see no problem with her working with her because she got a lot of contacts, a lot of connects, really helped to establish the foundation for the block party. But I can see why it's awkward though.
I feel like it's
reasons.
Now though.
Real shit, Nia said it's awkward, but they both made the decision to handle it like adults. Molly can't be mad at that. As a best friend, you shouldn't be mad at that. You should be like, oh, friend, you healing. She fucking with your ex nigga that you was with for 5 years. Wow, I'm proud of you. Like, the fuck? It's awkward enough.
Especially when you felt like you built him up to be where he is now. And she's like, I built him for the next woman. Like, that's a lot to take on, to sit there and be like.
So, in Molly's defense, though, Issa is kind of in denial. Like, so she's being a friend who's like, bitch, let's be real. You feel some type of way. You still care about him, so stop lying.
Yeah, like, in a full year, yeah.
Like, so she can tell. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think they not being honest with like themselves and one another. Like, because Issa and Lawerence clearly still have something going on, and they're both trying to act like they don't. Even old girl called them out. Like, I should be the one who's worried about an ex situation. Like, everybody can see it.
That's
yeah. I ain't gonna say about that one. Yeah.
No lies told there. Yeah, no lies told there. But okay, so when it got to the point where like they were like mentioning him, should they have set boundaries from the beginning and be like, okay, let's something that now that we all know, let's just kind of like not talk about him. But it naturally he comes up in conversation. Yeah. And then when Lawerence got a word of it, should he have like called his boys and felt like, hey, bruh, like, how should I handle this situation? Should I go off on Issa and tell her, like, keep my name out your mouth to my new? Okay. Exactly.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
I definitely agree that he should have went to his counsel just to kind of had a conversation about it, because everybody refers to their council of homies during this time, know. So, but I do feel like they should have set boundaries after they got the awkwardness out the way and they were kind of laughing about certain little things. It was like, all right, boom, we got that out of the way. Let's set these boundaries from here on forth and then continue business, because this is what it is business. But I don't feel like they set those boundaries, so it still just kept leaking into each other.
Yeah. So do y'all think that Condola and Lawerence gonna work it out?
I think they broke up.
like that last episode where he had to tell Issa something, and she lost Schoolboy Q. I was like, oh, this nigga done fucked it up for everybody. He did some shit to fuck everything up. Like, even when he didn't tell this girl that he had met with Issa. Like, why didn't you feel comfortable being transparent with her about that? You know?
Wait. So wait, you saying that like Schoolboy Q pulled out because of Condola?
Yeah, that's what I think.
Dang.
Interesting.
Carrie,
I feel
what you
like
got
Lawerence is like the woke version of a fuckboy Future. Like he know what he doing. He knows exactly what, like, all the schemes that he's doing is essentially, I feel like, to gauge and see if Issa is still on that same emotional level as he is. And just like when you just said, realistically, she is. Because I don't see somebody dedicating 5 years of their life in a relationship and just can bounce back to being friends like that. It ain't even been years, for real.
Yeah.
So they both being honest, but the way Lawerence do it is kind of like, I'm just gonna go and check in on her and see if it's like the Future memes. They be like, hey, I saw her, we at the end of the world and I haven't talked to you in a minute. So Lawerence would be the type to send them type of text.
What was that? What was that? Well, not even quote. What did Tasha say to that nigga in season 2? She was like, "You a nice boy trying to cover up not to be a fuck nigga," or some shit like that.
You wasn't a fuck nigga because you a nice nigga who think he's not a fuck nigga.
Ugh.
Yes,
I remember that. That shit hit me. I was
that
like,
quote hit you strong. She remembered that. She remembered that quote.
That's some shit that needs to be on the t-shirt. That you should deliver to a nigga that you ain't talking to no more. Like, hey, by the way, I felt that this should fit you. A nice nigga who's really a fuckboy who doesn't think he's one.
Those are the worst ones.
Yeah, they are. They are. Because they are oblivious to their own fucking toxic behavior.
Coming in selling all the dreams, fucking up everything they touch. Like, me? Was it me? Did I do it? I thought we was all going good. No.
I thought we understood that, like, you know, because you met my mama, and I mean, all right. The fuck?
Nia, did you have something you want to say? No,
I hit the wrong button. My bad.
Yeah. So, anybody else in regards to character-wise? What about Kelly and Amanda Seals? Why can't we think of her name? What is her name? What is her name?
Let's go to Google.
Why we can't think of her name? Shit.
I don't know.
Kelly, Molly, Issa.
Cannot think of her name.
Yeah, I can't.
And Amanda Seals.
That's basically what we gonna call her. Tiffany. I don't know why I can't get that.
Nobody can remember your character. We just know your real name.
Man, that shit crazy. Tiffany.
Tiffany, yes.
Tiffany having a baby and them having a baby, do you think that's going to put a ridge between like her and Kelly? Because, you know, Kelly and Tiffany are like besties, and then Tiffany was leaning towards her mom friends, and then, you know, she's trying to come back into her sister girls that, you know, she had a bond with. Like, do you think that's going to add more to their friendship as a foursome whole, or is it going to change things? Because I know babies change a lot of shit.
I don't know. They might become tighter because she knows that Kelly is somebody she could depend on and somebody she can always go to.
Maybe.
I think she's going to be. Go ahead.
No, that.
I was gonna agree. I think she's gonna become tighter because in that last episode, basically, she's getting that dose. Because I think she was in this la la land about what motherhood really looks like, and now she's like, oh, this shit is real. Like, I don't want to do this shit all the time. Like, I'm trying to drink. Like, I miss my homegirls. Like, you know, I think she's getting a little bit of a reality check or whatever. Because she was like, yeah, they're fucking annoying. They're like, yeah.
Like, my friends, I'm over it. I give a fucking shout out to Issa and the writers and their writers room for highlighting Black women's health. and the complications of that Black women go through in regards to fucking, you know, childbirth and womb health and all of that. Like that was so golden. That was so golden. That was just a shout out that I wanted to give. I was like, hell yeah, talk about it. Y'all fucking us up. HBO highly acclaimed critical series, and y'all sitting up here not realizing that she black, okay? Let's talk about that. Black women's stories, Black women, everything. That shit dope. That was dope. So
I forgot what was the question. Oh, you talking about
Tiffany's relationship with Kelly.
Yeah.
You think it's going to go or separate?
Nah, I don't. I feel like part of me feels like Kelly's gonna beat her more now, and she's gonna get attached to the child too.
Mm.
I feel like that's what's gonna happen with that. That's gonna create a dynamic that godmother auntie dynamic with that one there.
Yeah.
Give me that whole dress.
Exactly, boo. Exactly. I agree. Yeah.
Hi, I'm back.
Hey.
I got dressed.
You got dressed?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. How cool. Let me see your dress.
Come on, let's show you.
Don't knock over the wine.
Right, to watch the wine. Yes, dress. Cute. Yes, I love it. Pink.
Say thank you.
Thank you.
All right, you gotta go now. Okay, bye-bye.
I need to go.
Okay. She said, I'm back. Yes. So what else, Kev? What's our next trend?
I mean, I thought I still want to touch on some character.
Yeah.
I still want to touch on some character development. Because like I said, I was kind of slacking in the season 3 department. So when I came into this, you know, and Molly have her issues with her peoples, and then, you know, touching on the way her brother was messing around with the interracial dating. Because, you know, it's a lot of that going on. So I just want to know more of what people think about her growth in that department as well.
So, okay, Carrie, this reminds me of the conversation we were having about Jeezy and Jenny May. Why?
Do we have enough time? Where's my cup?
Can we? Cause what? I'm not trying to. Okay, let me just say it. You went from Jadena to all of these dope ass like men, king men, including the dude who was like, "Oh yeah, I've dabbled with men before." Like he was still a good guy. Like, and then like the Asian guy comes on, and I'm not saying like you can't love who you love. I think it's dope, but like, what is so different about this guy that makes you want to change? Or is it just the fact that she probably went through so many niggas and that now she's like, I'm tired of being alone? Like, do you think like this is like genuine, like he can be the one for me? Like, what is it about that concept that makes people like, okay, I want to do right with this person that's like different? Do you think is because this person is from a different culture that makes you challenge yourself more to be in it? I don't know. Like, I don't know. I have thoughts. I just don't know how to break it down. I think it's because I'm on this mimosa, but
I want everybody else to go first.
Yeah.
I think the dynamic between her and her father also plays a role. And just here, regardless of race, just her interaction with males. Like, I feel like in the previous seasons when she was a daddy's girl, when she would get with a man, she had that mindset of, I want to be with him. And then it's like when she heard about what her dad did to her mom with the cheating, I feel like she tried to become that sexually liberated, which I feel like Molly is not, she can't handle it, which is okay. She's not the type that could, go from do to do. And I think that's one of the things that she kind of envious of Issa of, because like Issa could sexually detach from a dude. Like, look, we are here for this purpose and that is it. Whereas with Molly, it's like,
CSA, babe.
I'm trying to only for the bae purposes. But with Molly, it's like this constant, I want to act like I don't really like him, but I like him because I had sex. And like, she's a person that is very emotional when it comes to sex. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. But when she does it, a lot is attached to it. So I feel like her dad played a role in it, and just kind of her trying to be seen as sexually liberated like Issa, but not able to handle the emotional kickback that's gonna come with having multiple sexual partners.
I really need her to like get out of her parents' marriage. Like,
It's
like when she was that whole episode on Thanksgiving and she was giving her dad the cold shoulder, and I'm just like, girl, like he did not marry you. Like your mother gave. Move forward. Like you were being mad for mom, and mom is like on celebrating her 55th fucking Thanksgiving with your daddy. Like, let it go. Like mad as fuck, and one of her brothers had to be like, "Hey, he did the mom, not to you. Relax, relax, Bucko." Like,
Bucko.
I do want to speak to that though, because I feel like
that's.
I can see.
Jump on and start talking. My boy Donnell.
I can see why she would be so upset, because it's like I feel like the parents hold so much
expectation,
yeah, and it's like if you see like the first man in your life do this to your like the first woman in your life, that's a big symbolization, is why it's like, damn, like you start thinking of all men like this, and it can taint your experience, because you've been I can see her almost saying like, have I been living a lie, because it's like all my life my parents was my ideal, like that was my goal. Like imagine Barack Obama and Michelle Obama daughters, and then coming to find out like the whole time Barack was cheating. They whole dynamic could be like, damn, like my pops was president and this and that. I thought we had a loving marriage and family, and it's like, now I don't know what to think. So I can see why she would be so, you know what I'm saying, upset about it.
That was a beautiful way to put it, I swear, because I'm so like, oh my God, Barack and Michelle, Jesus Christ, like the world is coming to an end. Like, it's in my parents in my head, you know what I'm saying? But shit, that is a way to put it. And I guess from certain perspectives, such as my own, like, you know, I didn't grow up in that loving, you know, I didn't have parents that were like together. I had parents who were like, I don't fuck with you, bro. Like, so that is a different way to put that. And then you come from that. Like, but why is it that, because she didn't find out till later on in her life. It wasn't like she grew up and her dad was cheating on her. Cheating on her mom like their whole childhood. Like she didn't find it out later through her life. So you would think that Molly would have a better sense of what a relationship dynamic, a healthy relationship dynamic would look like. But she ain't find out that dad cheated until she was grown. So I don't even understand how it fully affects her love life. I don't know. I think.
But then again, like I haven't seen Molly in a healthy relationship. It's like all of Insecure, personally speaking.
That's real.
So it's like I think her whole perspective of it was already skewed. So I think she was still trying to find her own identity, like with the job she had. It's kind of like I could see her being a woman that's like, every single part of my life has to reflect like the goal that I see in my head. So like I could see her being someone that like secretly judges people who has a vision board, but has her own vision board. She been plotting since she was like 15. Personally speaking, that's just my perspective.
Real shit.
Then kind of piggyback off that, I think with her not having any healthy relationships, I think her parents' relationship was probably that guiding light that she had, that she was just like, it's gonna work out. So when she found out Pops did what he did, it hit her a certain way, because it's like, you like everybody else. Like you out here dipping and dabbing, clapping up the cheeks. Like what do you do?
Exactly.
You know, so
all niggas
I think yeah, it's just like, wait a minute, I was holding you, my father, to a different standard, and come to find out you just like everybody else. So I think that's probably why it hit her a certain way, because he's here compared to where all the other men are, and that moment brought him down same playing field. Maybe that's why it hit her that same way.
Yeah. I feel like Molly has her beliefs and she's really stuck in them. Yeah. And I think her dad was part of those beliefs of what a man is. And Yeah, when that happened, yeah, I agree. It was like really volatile for her. And I think that's why she runs into issues with Issa, because she kind of thinks of probably her messing with all these guys is just like, okay, that's just supposed to be something you just do for this time period. And then we get back to the right track. And for some people, I mean, that might just be what Issa's doing right now. And maybe later, who knows? And I think that's what's confusing and frustrating Molly.
Damn. That's y'all some counselors. That shit deep. I'm over here like I mean, shit, fuck Molly and Issa. So tell me about my relationships with.
I was looking down.
Hey, I mean,
just talking. Was that Elijah?
Yeah.
Okay, so really good point, because I think that actually is part of the reason why she's trying to make this work with this other guy, is because he doesn't fit her, like this whole mindset that she had before. Like he's something new. This is a whole new phase for her. So she's trying, like this is her, like literally, she's never done any of this shit before. So she's trying to do everything differently.
Right.
And then naturally, he's different than the guy she's dated as well, because he calls on her shit, like, and he makes her like accountable for it. Like she has to answer to it. And so like, because he's not perfect, like he's not, vulnerable with her. And so they're kind of going through these changes together. Yeah. And because she's realizing now that she's not perfect and this whole ideal of perfection doesn't exist, she's willing to like let it work when she wasn't before. That's what I think.
Type shit.
I definitely agree. And I feel like for me, looking into Molly's scope, it reminds me of like my first relationship when you like want it to go right, because it's like new, it's exciting, it's different, and you got all these emotions flowing in. And like, but when the person is real with you too, it's like, damn, I'm not as cracked up as I thought myself to be. So like, I got to check myself in this too. So I think it's like, it's definitely part of that dynamic where it's like, she wants to give it a chance. And I feel like that's speaking to like what y'all said about both of the characters growing. Because I feel like Molly is like stepping into a new realm. And I think she's looking for a different type of support from Issa, because Issa's still looking at her like, oh, Molly, you're not about to be with him long anyway. So why you even tripping? When like, Molly like, but hold on, like, I actually do like this dude. So it's like, it's an interesting dynamic between the two.
I agree.
It's that birth, breaching through growth.
I definitely agree. So like, since we're talking about what's different in like all relationships, because it's showing that like everybody is playing this role of like really trying to be the best version of themselves. And so I know that we are still seeing like Lawerence being like semi-fuck niggerish when it comes to like how he like, okay, so I want to know what y'all thought about what happened with the conversation after Friendsgiving that led him to go to Issa's social media and watch her IG and watch her story and then comment and shit like that.
Them eyes is deadly. I was like, boy, don't do it. Don't do it.
Oh, don't do it. And when
he did it.
Now, let me ask y'all this. Now, do you think he was trying to grieve because maybe him and Condola didn't end that conversation well? You know, niggas grieve by like, oh, let me see what my ex bitch doing. I'm gonna just check in, Or was he just literally trying to like still show love and keep a friendship flowing with Issa? Like, or because he realized it's like, oh, we all need to just kind of be friends and be adults about it. We be running into each other at coffee shops and all this other shit. Like, do you think it was genuine, or do you think he should never even open that door?
He shouldn't have did it. He conflicted. He still got them feelings. Them eyes, like I said, them eyes are dead, and them eyes is like, so what's up? You know what I'm saying? It's like, he shouldn't have did that.
Yeah.
I was sitting there like, don't do it, bro. Don't do it. Damn, he did it.
He did.
It's a wrap. It's over. It's over.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah.
I feel like it was him like reminiscing, because I feel like whenever, you know what I'm saying, you have, it's something new. So him and Condola is new, but it's like because of that spat and then how deep the spat went, and then it being in front of like her friends, which is even more like of a dynamic that's like important for the sake of the relationship. It's like, damn, I want to remember some good times, the end of my Thanksgiving. And I think it, like Kevin said, like your heart is like, damn, I do kind of miss her. I did see the other day. She was looking good in them jeans. I mean, them pants. Damn, let me see what she on tonight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He was taking hella L's at the Friendsgiving though. He was taking all L's, bro.
That shirt was ill. He should never came in that damn thing.
What his shirt?
Girl, that shirt was horrible. Horrible.
Yeah, that shirt was kind of trash. I mean, but he was also like, I thought they were like matching. And then it was, okay, so I have a question about him and Condola.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't she kind of invite him because she mentioned it?
No, he invited his damn self.
When I look back over, he did kind of invite himself.
He
Like, I'm having a little thing, and he was like, "Oh, do you want me to come?" And she was like, "Sure."
Uncomplicated.
Yeah.
I mean,
but see, that's different.
That's an invite.
It's accountability on both sides.
But I mean, it's a little off. I wouldn't have took it, but to a motherfucker that's like, oh, okay, we laying in the bed together having morning kisses with our funky ass breath, and I think she wants me to meet her friends. Why not? She was like, sure. And I thought, in the way I read it was like, well, sure, I don't want you to feel pressured and this and that. I thought they were both on the same page of like,
I read it completely different. She was like, oh shit, I shouldn't have said that. Now I gotta invite him. That's what that shit was. That was a, oh fuck, I shouldn't have said nothing.
It's real. Well,
Neil was like, he doesn't know how to be alone after the breakup. He was just running through any and everybody. I think everybody do that though after the breakup. Just to get it out.
He was. First of all, I just love the sex scenes. They're so tasteful
and so realistic.
They're so realistic. Okay. Well, we can talk about that when we transition into our next part. But like, they're very tasteful. Like, I must add, like, there's like mild nudity, but that we're naked. Ass is clapping, and then you know what? This season, I'm loving that you see more male nudity than women nudity. Do you all agree with that? Look at Winnie. Like,
I mean, TSA Bay was out there. He was out there, so it's like you had no choice but to see that.
Yeah, I think my favorite sex scene. It was and I swear to God, Issa does so good with giving us visuals about our inner thoughts. Because when she started visualizing Condola and Lawerence having sex, right when she found out, and they was at the baby shower, and it was just like everywhere, and he was like, "Ooh, popping tags, you own all your clothes, don't you?" I swear to God, it's a real vision. I've been in those situations where I've never been in a healthy situation where like, oh, I met the dope ass female that's dating my ex or anything like that. I've had like situations where, I've talked to someone and then someone like they're together, and those them thoughts be real as fuck. You be like, oh God, no, oh shit. It's haunting as a motherfucker. But like for her to like put that in like a visuals perspective like that enhances like how her emotions are about all of this shit, and it just validates like how this whole shit is gonna go. Because I'm telling you, when you're thinking about your ex and a new bitch, the first thing you go to is like they are fucking a lot. I feel it in my spirit. I feel it. They're fucking too much. They fuck more than we fuck. Like
yeah. It's like
yeah.
I think that's part of the grieving process though, because you still that to me lets me know that she still cares, because if you didn't care, you'd be like whatever. But the fact that lets the audience know she still thinks about, she still has him on the mind, and it still affects her more than what she says, because just like otherwise you wouldn't be thinking about it. But the fact that you constantly thinking about it and you constantly talking about it and you constantly have these awkward moments, it's like I was sitting there like, bro, don't send them eyes. But it's like she wanted them eyes. It's like she low-key wanted
that. She ain't know that nigga was looking at her Instagram. She ain't know that.
Right.
Yeah, straight.
Yeah, right. She wanted them eyes.
She was hanging out with her brother at the Mexican restaurant.
Exactly. trying to
wanted them
dodge they step-in-laws.
And the ugly ass twins. Like,
Well, no. I'm not saying at that moment. I'm just saying eventually, though, she wanted that acknowledgement from him. Eventually, it doesn't necessarily have to be from just
Where
know
you
what
get
I'm
that
saying.
from? Why you think that?
Because she still thinks about him.
Thank you, Nia. Nia said, nah, no. She's creating a block party right now. She's booked, she's busy, and her business partner happens to be his new bitch. Like, no, she ain't want that. How you know she want that? She ain't want that.
Okay, we'll see. I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna let this rest of the season play out to see how this goes, and then I'm gonna go from there. So if something happens, I'm gonna come back and all y'all be like, wow. Like,
I don't know.
Well,
okay. I will say this though. And I hope anybody agrees with me. Well, not agree with me. But what are y'all thoughts on the fact that when she called him, when she was about to meet with Condola, when they was going to they was about to go to a concert, and she was like, she called Lawerence and was like, "Hey, do I mention that we met up?" And why did he say no? Like, why is it a secret?
Because he's a fuck nigga.
I mean, there's no argument.
I don't know about all that. But I do want to say, like, there are tendencies of toxic qualities of like wanting to keep those worlds separate. I think it's uncomfortable for any dude to be like, your ex and your current person are friends. I mean, that just feel uncomfortable even thinking about it. Unless you truly healed and moved past it. But even then, I think there's always going to be those residual memories, even if it ain't feelings.
Well,
She still said she wanted them eyes.
she said she didn't want them eyes, Kel. She didn't want that. She didn't want that.
I do want to ask though, why do y'all feel like Lawerence is a fuck nigga? I'm curious.
Simple.
You gonna open the floodgates, bro?
I was like, I'm gonna hold on to it.
Hold on, ladies.
Open the floodgates,
Ladies,
My drink.
does anybody need a shot? Anybody need a shot?
I'm gonna go ahead and refill, but go ahead.
Anybody need a shot? So, I think the thing that I'm sure that we can all agree with is that we have seen him through the breakup all the way to now, to where have you really sat with yourself and healed? You know what I'm saying? We've seen him go through, like, and this is the thing, men are physical, women are more internal, we're emotional. So when we heal, we have to sit with ourselves. We have to take time. We have to rub cocoa butter on our wounds. Niggas, they be like, I got a dick and I'm about to go swing it everywhere to make me feel better. Like this.
No, that's not true. Sometimes we have wounds too.
It is how niggas grieve. Niggas do grieve like that.
No.
Okay, come on.
Come on.
No. I can tell you that from experience. That's not true.
We did see him go to counseling, right? But we didn't really see him do any active things to really like get over Issa. And we saw him with women. Like, that was his whole timeline of just trying to get over someone, is healing. And like, I mean, Donnell disagrees. I mean, explain to us why he isn't one.
Right.
Well, I'm not saying he isn't one. I'm not
saying that either, but I do feel like there are qualities that, like, I also want to like keep in mind there are qualities of men where it's like it isn't normalized for us to show our emotions in that way. So I think that's why we can be over sexualized in, like, for example, not even to get too personal, but like growing up, my father on a normal basis, me spending time with him was me constantly seeing him with other women. What am I supposed to think when I'm constantly, the person I want to be my role model is honestly like showing me a bad role model?
That's real shit.
Granted, I choose differently. I do my best to, but it's like, I don't feel like men are guided enough to emotionally deal with things as much as women go through emotional things.
You legit just said what I was about to say. You made the choice to decide you wanted to be better.
Hey.
You look pretty, baby.
They said they like it. Say thank you and bye-bye.
You. Bye.
You're welcome.
I ready to go.
Okay, she about to go. Bye-bye.
I love you.
I love you too. Mwah. My thing is, at what point do you make a decision to be better though? Like, do you decide, okay, this whole being unemotional, this whole like, lying to myself, this whole, going from woman to woman is not working for me. Like, I feel like at a certain point, a man, particularly him, he's not dumb. He's starting businesses. He has an app. He clearly is not an idiot. Like, you're just choosing to do this because you're like, whatever, I'm going through the emotion, blah, blah, blah. No, he's making these choices. So for me, he's a fuck nigga. Like, because you're actively, like, just not deciding to do better. Like, I don't understand. Like, the tools are there.
Yeah. From a man point of view, it doesn't always click that way. Just like with my code growing up in similar situations, like I've been on a joint where my father took me with him to see another woman and then got mad at me because I told my mama. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I was young, I didn't know anything. But it's like growing up when you really don't see that many good references, you don't have nothing to pull from. Now,
Right.
Granted, yes, I did have a choice. I've never been like, extra grimy out here, but I've done my things. And like Lawerence, after a certain, breakup, you just like, I just need to get it out of my system. I just want to, smash anything that's walking. But that's just get it out your system because it's just like,
getting it out your system is what? Your feelings. And you physically put them onto another person.
I was going to get to that.
Passing that in. Okay, move. Lip. Lip. Hello.
But no, I was going to get to that because it's just like you don't know how any other way to express that. I found another way to express that when I started.
Go ahead, move to chime in. Okay, please.
Chime in now. I'm live. Hey, y'all.
Hey, move.
Hey. But it was like I said, it's different for every man because like I said, it can be there, but it just hits you different because like I said, for me, writing poems is what that translated that for me because it gave me another avenue to express myself instead of that, you know what I'm saying? Because especially if you're not taught any other different ways to express yourself, you only have certain avenues. I found that way, so that helped me out of that, that hole. But it's just like, I don't know. It's different.
So I definitely want to hear what Moo got to say because she put on the lip, so she about to go in. So, but I have a question because you were saying that a lot of men were not taught that. You get to a certain age where you realize like pussy not finna heal everything. All pussy ain't good pussy. That's number one. Number two,
there's no age limit to that though. That's the thing. There's no age limit to that.
True.
Men can be 50 years old and still not get that.
But that's what I'm saying though. Is there a cognitive like thing that you all know, like, okay, I can't just fuck my feelings away? Because like that's what you were saying. You were like, I'm trying to get it out of my system. What does that look like? Like you said, I write poetry, or he'll go work out or ride his bike, and like these are healthy things. But like, do all men have that moment, which I feel like they do, an aha moment, like, let me not keep doing this, like, because this ain't healthy.
Depends on the extracurricular activities you have. If you're a dude that doesn't do anything but go to the work and club and just you don't have nothing else to do, it's probably not going to hit you immediately. It's probably not going to hit you immediately. When you have other things that you can put your mind and energy to and distract you from that, it hits differently.
Right.
But when you don't do anything else besides work, kick it with the homies, go out, club, social media, you don't have anything else to put your energy towards except to those. And we all know social media is definitely not the place for that type of, because you got so many different opinions and things like that. So when you don't have any other avenues to express yourself, it's going to take a while for that to click because you're not exposed to nothing. You're not exposed to nothing different and nothing new. But then once you finally do get exposed to something different and new, and you do have that time and mental stability to put energy elsewhere, then it starts to slowly click with you like, wait a minute, this is different. I feel different. This isn't right. I need to change, blah, blah, blah. But like I said, it just depends on the environment that the dude is around, what he involves himself in, things like that. So, and then also it involves your homies too. Because if your homies is still the same way, the environment you still in, we all know how toxic environments can longer extend periods
You
and
can't
things
heal
like
an
that.
environment that harmed you. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you still got homies that's still in that same boat as well, that still is. Now, eventually, as time goes on, there'll be a conflict as he starts to, venture into different things, and his mind starts to open up. Then there'll be a conflict between the two, but it's a lot. It's a lot that goes into that one.
So you
Now,
really knowing when you a fuck nigga. Cool. I got it.
I mean, of course, when you are her granny, like that.
Crazy.
So my question is, do women get the same grace period?
Yeah, why not?
I don't think we do. I'm pretty sure I've never gotten this grace period in life.
Society.
When somebody
believes
was
that
like,
you don't.
"Oh yeah, Whitney, you get this time to just be a fucked up individual because no one ever taught you. So go ahead." No.
I say so. I don't.
Women, have y'all got that grace period?
Fuck no. Let somebody find out I had two niggas coming back to back to back walking out of my door.
To show yourself, Lawerence, as soon as Issa fucked up, Lawerence was like, I gotta get the fuck up out of here. I don't hear nothing you gotta say. Now the tables were turned, she probably would have forgave him and they would have worked it out. But because it was a woman cheating on a man, he didn't want to hear shit she had to say. Because women don't get that same grace period, is what I'm trying to say. So y'all, I understand that you don't have it figured out and no one ever showed you. I didn't grow up in a 2-parent home. I didn't see that shit. I mean, I've had to grow into the woman I am. So I don't understand why it's, y'all get this get out of jail free card until you're 45 years old to fuck us up and hurt our feelings. And then
right, that's not what I'm saying.
That's not what I'm saying.
I don't want my growth to be attributed to your trauma. I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry.
If you want to go out there and handle your business and get it, like I said, it's different for each person, because if that's what you want to do, do it. Just make sure if I'm your homie, I'm gonna be like, just make sure you safe out here. That's all I'm worried about. Do what you do. You want to have two dudes come through in the same day? Do what you do. That is all on you. That is, as long as you safe. I don't care. Once things start to harm you, that's when I'm like, but it's society's double standard. Of course, women don't get that same, grace period, because, it's always in favor for men. It's trash. The whole system is trash. We know that. So, yeah.
And I also do want to add, every human being is responsible for themselves at a certain point.
Yeah.
Once you old enough to pay your bills and do certain things, I feel like once you're old enough to put your, in a woman or receive that, I believe it opens up another channel spiritually, whether we're aware of that or not. So I do feel like every man and woman is responsible for their actions, regardless of what came before them. All me and Kev are speaking to is we didn't have the proper guidance. I seen this post on Instagram one day saying that in order to be a man, you got to see a man. And I feel like there's not a lot of appropriate representations, one in the household, but also the media, which affects both men and women. So I'm not even just saying it's just men. I believe women aren't seeing that proper representation of what a man is either. So I think it confuses both sexes. So I ain't trying to personally attack you saying we get a get out of jail free card, because I don't believe that. That's why I'm choosing to do better and be better than my father. But at the same time, it's I also do feel what about women? Because it's there's a lot of women out here who listen to Megan Thee Stallion and don't have that conscience to be that's not reality. So they're out here and they're having a hot girl summer and doing all of this and not really understanding the repercussions of it until it's too late. So what about that?
So I actually will talk to that, because one of my homeboys, we had this conversation not too long ago. And honestly, I feel like that is a result of what we've been seeing for so many years. Because to be realistic, growing up, you're always taught, keep your legs closed, be a good girl, whatever have you, and then you're going to meet this great guy, whatever have you. But when you get, I would say age where you start having sex, you realize all that shit's some bullshit. So after a while, you start to rebel. And I feel like that's the subgroup of women who are rebelling against this ideal of being this perfect, wholesome, woman. Because it's fuck that. Y'all don't look after me. You don't protect me. And granted, I don't necessarily, I will say, I feel her sometimes, but that's not necessarily my personality. But, it is what it is. And then granted, I'm not attacking y'all personally. I'm just saying, this argument, so I have a male organization. It's called Hello, My Name is King. We support boys and men of color. So we have this topic all the time, and it's like it's a passion one of mine. So I just feel like responsibility is never a thing, and so I'm always teaching my participants to take care to be more responsible. Mo, are you saying something? Oh, she ain't talking this. But yeah, I'm like, you know,
just wait. She wait.
I was like, she's about. I thought. Okay, but yeah, so that's like my whole thing. It's not like, you know, trying to like attack y'all. I just feel like at a certain point you have to be responsible. And so with Megan Thee Stallion and this whole hot girl summer thing, that to me is a repercussion of everything we've been going through for the last 2 fucking decades. But I could be wrong.
I think it goes back even further than that. Like, not to like low key to pull back in Black AF, but because of slavery. Like, I feel like with our women having to see their men like literally whipped in front of them and then being raped, and then like the security, the home, the protection all comes from a white man, that's like spiritually splitting. So that, and then the effects of that, and then all of our men like in jail or dead, like I think it does a lot psychologically that we still haven't healed from. Like, I feel like as far as therapy goes, regardless of just like our relationship between our mother and father, we got like societal trauma for generations that we haven't dealt with still. So it's like, I believe it's somewhat normalized to it for us to have these problems, but I do feel like it's our responsibility to spark that. So that's why, like, I do want to commend you for having that organization as far as the Kings, because like we need more of that, truthfully speaking, and I applaud you for it.
Oh, thank you. Y'all are all welcome to come join and be, you know, we did a program at Carey School last year. It was awesome. T was there. She was on the panel.
I think I seen pictures from that. Did you post pictures from that too?
It was pretty lit, yeah.
I did see pictures from that.
I definitely did. I love that. So as we already at 2:00, that's dope. So we want to touch on one more topic and then we can kind of wrap it up. We don't want to keep everyone from their day, but this conversation is going so well. I'm full. I'm just like looking at all these Black folks coming together to talk about. I'm telling you, Black women save the world. It all came from Jill and Auntie Earth. I was trying to tell you, they was like, you motherfuckers gonna sit in this room and y'all gonna come together and get some of this energy, okay? Mm-hmm. Hey, I saw this meme and it said nobody, and then it said absolutely nobody, and then it said all the Black, it was like all Black folks at 9:56 p.m. Green. Like, that shit was real. We all came together hard last night. Yeah, what we got next, Kev?
I don't know no more, because that conversation took a life on its own after that one. It kind of it's like yeah, man, we got deep. We went deep with that one, and I don't know. I was like, where are we going with this after this?
What was the original
transition back to the show?
The original question was why we think that Lawerence is a fuck nigga. That's
and then we ended it
mute, Mo.
Black, and then we ended it with Black as fuck because of slavery. Like
we went back to that
because of slavery. Shit, things happen. It's lit. It's lit.
Yeah, I mean, next on the agenda is predictions. But I don't need my, like I said in the conversation, I was just like, well, we going back to the show now? Oh, man, all right, damn.
I just keep it focused. I mean, by all means, if we can continue talking, but I want to hear predictions because we are watching that shit tonight.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, that's the next topic is predictions. What do y'all think is going to happen on today's episode for the remaining 4 episodes, because there's only 4 more episodes left of the season. I think it's 8. It's 8. So what are some of y'all predictions? Mood, she ain't been talking. We need you to talk. You went, disappeared and came back.
I tried to jump in there like Doe Dutch, the rope I couldn't get the rhythm.
We was turning click clack. We sorry.
Next time, I'm gonna be lit, y'all. Next time, I'm gonna have all the words. I promise. And we're gonna come back on that topic too about the socialization of Black men too. I want to jump on that, but that will take more time than what we have right now. Speak your mind. My mom's gonna kick my ass, so I gotta go soon. But I'm loving all of this energy. Thanks, Carrie, for inviting me. Shout out to Whitney. I know you, girl. I see Ned on her and all these other beautiful Black faces. I'll have more.
Yeah, Ned been quiet this time.
I just saw her name. That's how I knew she was here.
Yeah. She moving and grooving, I think. But She's here.
But the one thing that I did want to say, and I always do this, and black men get upset with me. I love black men. The one thing I typically do is challenge them to put their mind. Imagine that a white person is saying everything that they're saying to us about the sexism and the socialization of black men and how it affects us. Imagine a white person saying whatever your rebuttal is, or whatever your comment is, or response is to whatever we say. If they say that to you, how do you feel? How do you interpret that? If they say, well, this is how I've been socialized for so long, and it's hard to break the habit of racism, how do you interpret that, right? Like, how do you feel about that? Yeah, you can understand to be socialized a particular way, but when your socialization and you're comfortable with, you being comfortable in this socialization is literally life or death for me, my existence, and everybody like me. I can't accept that you were just socialized like this. I get it, I understand it, but you have to actively be working against it in order for me to accept that you're actually progressing, right? Otherwise, you fit in that bubble with everybody else, no matter if you're a fuckboy or not. If you're not actively working against it, no different than how we hold white folks accountable and say you need to be checking your cousins. If you're not checking your brothers in your circles, you still are accepting it. And there's no, it's one or the other side, right? There's no middle ground with this. You can't say that I'm not gonna be a fuckboy, but I'm never gonna hold my boys accountable when they are fuckboys. They not gonna listen to us, right? Like, y'all have to check y'all brothers. No different than when we played the black card, we just being women complaining. I've been called a feminazi, right? Because I'm saying things that are just logical and make sense, but to somebody who ain't ready to receive it, from me, I'm a feminazi. To somebody receiving it from their brother, their homeboy, who is not, that they assume the intent is pure and not to gain some kind of weird version of equity that they think we're trying to get, then they receive it better. So if you're not actively working on both fronts yourself and what you putting out in the world with your people, then you just as guilty as a white person to say, well, I'm not racist, I got black friends, but they're not actually actively working toward progressing things. It's all about responsibility. So I'm done now.
Beautifully said. Beautifully.
Yeah.
You eloquently stated, yes. And not only that, I really wish I had some church music. That's when the doors and then you be like, dun, 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 dun.
Right past the offering plate.
Yeah, okay.
Danielle said facts.
But that was all true though. And like that was a good statement. That was definitely a good statement.
Yeah, and not only that, and that also, and you know, going from black men, but that also goes for us black women too. I am learning more and more that I am my sister's keeper, but I am also my sister in so many ways, especially, you know, no matter how our stories are set up, no matter the details that are intricate or not, there is a lot of shit that I learned that's toxic in myself that I may not be privy to. And then from my sister who sees me, she's like, yo, like, you really got to stop talking like that. You really got to stop doing this and then the other. And I'm like, yeah, but remember when we both was like, and then it's like one of us like, yeah, but at some point we gotta stop that because I'm tired of hearing it. I'm like, ooh, I feel that. You know, like we have to hold ourselves just as accountable too. Because we be feeding into the bullshit, you know? Like, we really do. We really, really do.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, back to these predictions.
I'm sorry.
So
Can I say something real quick? And Danielle, I don't mean no disrespect, but it was a comment you just put in the chat about there's too many city girls and not enough Michelle Obamas. And I don't think we should be comparing the two. And I understand the image that city girls quote unquote makes, but I also see, in my opinion, city girls are allowing black women to be sexually liberated and own our sexuality. And that's not a Michelle Obama don't do that. But we do as black women need somebody that's gonna make it okay for me to be a freak.
But what if Michelle
normalizing
Obama
the governing of our bodies too, right?
Yeah,
like governing. Why do people feel entitled to dictate what's normal for us or what's acceptable for us? If I'm not, all sex is good sex as long as it's safe and consensual. How I govern my body is up to me in every aspect. But that concept in itself is so hard for men to understand. And I'm saying black men, not because all men don't get it, just because I'm in my own family reunion right now. Yeah. That is the hardest concept. And it's interesting because if you think about psychology, when you think about the scope, right? The gaze, folks who are further back in oppression tend to be able to see more of other people's oppression. And because black men are like this hyper target, you would assume that they're not too far from us in our oppression, that they would be able to at least get the concept of what we're talking about, because it ain't too different than the way we're racially oppressed. But it's like, and I get, and what bothers me is when I step into these black circles, these pro-black circles that are no different, because white folks raised you, right? And so your concepts are the same. You just put a couple of Kemet symbols or something on it, and you're doing the same shit to us that people been doing. And so we talk about governing our sexuality. You don't get to dictate that. And then the city girls, or I think, Carrie, you said it earlier, right? It's a rebellion against you. You keeping us in this bubble of sexuality. When you were in middle school, when you went through puberty and your dick got hard, my pussy got wet too, right? Yeah. The thing is, you just didn't know. And they put this extra governance. I'm sorry, y'all, listen. I apologize. Don't nobody do that. It's okay. It's okay. I won't come to the next.
Speak your ish. Speak it.
But what I'm saying is that we went through the same thing, but we get shamed. And if I hear this lock and key analogy one more time, I'm gonna go crazy. I am not an object. That is literally objectifying me to call me broken if I'm a lock that gets opened by all keys, where a key is a master if he can open all locks. That is disgusting and disturbing. And the fact that we still using this to justify why women need, and don't give me this, I'm sorry, y'all, look, I'm on my soapbox, okay? Clearly I talked about this.
I told you I wanted you to talk.
But no, and I hate when they do this fake morality version of governing our bodies where, no, sis, it's not because I'm trying to tell you what to do with your pussy. It's because it's so good, it's so great and divine and the closest thing to God that you must guard it. How about I govern it, right? How I want to. God gave me free will if we're going to go there. I govern it how I choose. You don't get to govern that. But that's that entitlement, this weird white folks raised us, and we go into the same mentality even when we put African kente cloth on top of it.
Type shit. But even in African cultures, men are dominant. Like, that's just what it is. Like, men are very, like, overbearing. So, whether even in Eastern societies, Western societies, men are very overbearing. You can go Asian, Africa, Latin America, it'll be the same shit, different people. So, I don't even know because we was raised by white people. I just think it's we were raised globally in a masculine world.
But they try to make it a white thing when folks are talking about how a lot of anything that goes wrong, we can root it in some white shit or some slavery or something. So when I hear black folks, the Negroes talking about it, is usually, oh no, that's how the white man treats his woman. See, the black man treats him as a queen, and and then I hear all of this rhetoric, but in reality, you still govern me no different than the system that you were saying that you're rebelling against. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it has been prevalent in every culture, but I'm saying that's the wording that I'm hearing when I'm talking to these certain kind of brothers.
Mm-hmm. And I think, like, from my perspective, like, I completely agree with you. Like, I've seen and witnessed a lot of people who self-righteously, like, feel more enlightened because they study our ancient African cultures and things of that nature, but still are disrespectful in these ways. And I'm saying, like, it's no excuse at all across the board. I don't care if you're white, black, brown, yellow, green. It really don't matter. And if we really want to go back to those African roots, like from my studies, like not completely sure if it's true or not, but in order to be a king, you had to have a queen, either by blood or marriage. So it's like regardless of everything, the woman is the glue to society in the household across all fronts, across all races, across all ethnicities. And I feel like as a whole, we all need to treat each other better. And to be truthful, like, I do believe it does start with ourselves, but also, like, our mothers and our fathers. Because I feel like with that, those are our first interactions that we come to out of the womb. So it's like, I think we're not necessarily trying to make an excuse for it. We're just giving our personal reasons as far as, like, look, we're all here in this conversation right now. So I truly do believe we are all putting our better foot forward to be better for ourselves first, which is, like, really all our responsibility is for ourselves, God-given. And then from there, we can be the example. But how can you speak to the example if you are not exhibiting those factors and those qualities yourself?
That's it. I will say this for the black men. I appreciate y'all being honest. We don't ever get the chance. I mean, my personal guy friends, I get these one-on-one conversations, but in a group setting, you rarely get a chance to really have these, like, raw discussions.
Yeah, and not only that, I think I'm grateful for the fact that a lot of us on here don't really know each other. You know what I'm saying? But to be open to one another's mindsets and processes of how we view things, and it kind of just literally just transitioned into how we talked about holding one another accountable. This is an environment, and you can't heal from the environment that harms you, so you search for a new one, and this is what this creates, that healthy rhetoric for Black folk to hold one another accountable. Be like, hey, and by Carrie's asking Donnell, can I ask you a question? And this is why I want to state this and any other. Donnell probably finna go and look through things totally different. Not speaking for you, Donnell, but I know you're not talking, so I'm just assume that you're gonna take this whole conversation and idea and go straight into viewing things differently. And that's how healing starts. And I just want to shout out everybody for that, because that was unexpected, but in some way it was divine. And that's really what Writers Not Biters is all about, like having that open discussion, because the conversations that we're having, which is why we created the Zoom room, is for us to tell stories. Like, we're going to talk about stories about the difference between the Michelle Obamas and the difference between the city girls. We're going to talk about not letting out, not forgetting the stripper culture and the purpose of how it even started, because slavery, but we can get into that. We'll get into that, but like, we need Black stories, because that's what Writers Not Biters is about. We need to hear Black stories. We need to hear, challenges within our daily lives, because that shit needs to be talked about. Because when we watch movies and we watch TV, and until now we're seeing, Black television and Black representation. We don't have the Parenthood, Family Matters, Fresh Prince, fucking Jamie Foxx, Wayne. We don't have the Cosby Show, Ooh. Ooh, but
still a good show.
But at the same time, we had representation, and now because of social media, because of fucking the Aquarian age, because of all of these things that is like different within our culture, how do we continue these stories? And this conversation is literally what we look for. We just can't thank y'all enough. I'm just like, nigga, look at my cousin them. It's lit on Mother's Day. Yes, I fuck with it. Yes, but
all because of Jill and Erica.
It was all because of Jill and Erica, for
All
real.
because of Jill and Erica.
That's on gang. I'm trying to tell you. 2 Black mothers come with that mother energy and be like, here we are.
I know that if y'all have Amazon Music, they have the playlist on there. So Alexa played that for me this morning, y'all. It was a blessing.
Girl.
That was me last night before bed. I had the playlist pop.
I just downloaded the playlist.
And this DJ I follow, I just shared his post. He got it on Spotify too.
Bet, because that's what I pay.
I can start with the first prediction. So with Lawerence, he did something to fuck up that Schoolboy Q thing.
You think?
Hold on. I think that Condola has some toxicness to her too. And she went through his phone, saw that he was texting Issa, and it blew up.
But she ain't been returning her texts.
Just like, yo, I need to talk to you, cause and then she was just like, hold on, my headline just left, and he was just like, all right, we'll talk some other time. He did some shit fucked up. It may not have been like that, but something happened within their relationship, because Condola ain't answering.
So have they talked
Together. I thought that's what they were hitting at.
What happened?
I was just asking, have they talked since Thanksgiving?
Condola and
Lawerence.
We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know. Yeah.
I think they broke up. I think that's what he was gonna tell her.
I think he was trying to get back. Like, didn't they see it? Like, they kind of hinted with the homeboys. It was like, you love that girl. And that's how it be sometimes. Your boys got to remind you where your heart lies. You got it's time to come back home, boy. Stop playing. You know what I'm saying? You got your nose wet. Come on back home. So, I don't know. That's what I'm hoping. I'm rooting for them.
It looked like it was something a little bit more sus, though.
I know. But I'm hoping.
I'm hoping. I'm with you, Moo. I'm hoping too, because they were like, like, yeah, what's up? Yeah, I know the baby.
That's it. He just had to grow up. Like, we tired of waiting on our brothers sometimes. But
our friends just had a baby, right? Like,
I know.
The baby do look like Kelly. Ooh,
but yeah, when I said she wanted them eyes, it's
We made her funny. That's a good one, E. I can't see. I hope that's not it, because that really puts a damper on a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Like Condola then fucked around and told Schoolboy, you know, she didn't pull it out. She's ignoring Issa. But if you did see some messages, that would think like, damn, bitch, I'm trying to help you get on, and you trying to get back with your nigga, and it's supposed to be my new thing, and you fucking it up for me while I'm over here trying to help you genuinely. That's fucked up. That's fucked up. Yeah, that's fucked up. That's fucked up.
And it might be because I'm a messy writer. You seen my scripts for Toxic. Like,
That's so messy.
I would have wrote all that shit. Like, yup.
Wow, that's a really messy ending.
Are messy.
It's more seasons to go.
I love it. The shit we be shooting, we be like, oh,
Why would she do all of that?
why she do that? What's
It's
happening?
real life. It's 'cause it's real.
So my non-messy prediction was that Condola realized that basically that she's in the middle of a triangle, and like she needs to pull out, and she don't know how to tell Issa that she's not comfortable working with her no more, and or like moving on from Lawerence. And I agree. I think Lawerence is gonna tell her that he's. I don't know when necessarily that he broke up. I think he's gonna say something about the way he's been feeling. Because Lawerence doesn't talk in clear sentences. So I feel like it would have just been something about he's been thinking about, you know how he talked. I just been thinking, I was wondering. It would have been one of those situations.
Yeah.
And I feel like the reason he didn't, I don't know if he has something to do with it directly, but I feel like indirectly he did or whatever. Like, and so, or at least he feels like he did because of the relationship with Condola. So he's like, oh shit, did I fuck something up? Well, let's talk later. Like, whatever you got, girl, we'll talk later or whatever. So,
right when she got the phone call and he was about to, yeah. He was like, it ain't even important because
you got it.
Yeah, I probably the reason for that. Never mind, sis. I love you. Like, have a good one, because you definitely could score up on me right now, and I don't even want that. I don't even want them problems. Like, yeah, I feel that. Donnell said prediction: everyone breaks up.
I'll be reading that too.
Condola and Lawerence break up. Issa and Molly break up. That's true. He ain't lying though. That's hella true. Everybody break up. Like, I mean, it's healthy. My prediction that's funny. This hell no, Lawrenceburg. This bottle says from Lawrenceburg. So there is my prediction. I feel like Lawerence is going to. I think what he wanted to tell Issa was something on the levels of like, I'm finna go chase after Condola, and I want you to stay far away as possible. I'm the reason why Condola is not even talking to you right now. I know she's not talking to you. We've decided to, you know what I'm saying? Some shit that's gonna hit Issa, because if y'all noticed that last episode, and I understood her, she was just getting hit with L's back to back to back to back to back. And I think Lawerence was gonna legit tell her, like, I told Condola to stop working with you. That's why she's not answering your phone calls. I just think it's gonna be like some stingers, because that's what makes it a good story. Like, how do I turn this into lemonade? And I think with all the lemons that Issa was getting served this last episode, I think it was something on that level that, yes, Lawerence had something to do with it, and I think he's the reason why Condola is not talking to her. I want to put money on this too.
Yeah.
Right.
So the reason I was thinking about him not necessarily going to chase Condola was because he had just found out that he was just a piece of meat to her, right?
Oh yeah.
Right. So like her homegirl had just spilled the beans about you just somebody she hitting after her divorce to get over that situation, and she didn't deny it when she was in the kitchen. So that's why I thought too that he might be considering Issa again. Like, really, this bitch not even taking me seriously. Let me go back to what I know, what I'm comfortable with.
I forgot about this.
This is why I think Condola is a little shady, because if you really thought of him as a piece of meat, why did you like make that argument at the end of the episode? You know what I'm saying? Like, so like you still probably talk to your ex and shit like that. It's like,
like it just be a conversation. She just baby. Like, she ain't that mature. We still young, and maybe she just threw that out there. So I still feel like she thought of him just as a piece of meat, but she also, like, women get a little territorial. Like, even still, I should be worried about your ex. You the one over here cracking jokes. So you got a little jealous. Just because you got a little jealous, I don't think she's still.
Even though you're not worried.
But let's also keep in mind, this is a natural thing that humans do.
Yeah.
When we feel threatened by outside forces with some shit that we feel like it's ours, it's in our nature for us to pull back. Because after that situation, that occurrence at the little coffee shop that Condola got Issa hip to, this and that and the other, that's when the conversation came up about Friendsgiving. So, like, naturally, she could have just, like, pulled back and was like, well, maybe you don't need to meet my friends yet, or, I'm having a situation. I mean, sure, if you want to come, but I probably didn't say nothing to you because, I'm still trying to figure out your feelings. Like, are you still healing? Because she asked a great question that led up to that conversation. Like, if Issa didn't cheat it, would you still be there?
I'm glad you brought that up. I thought that was the most bullshit question of that episode. Yes.
No.
Okay. If you had cheated, would I still be in a relationship? If shit didn't work out, would I still? It's like, yeah, of course. Of course, I'd still be in a relationship. That's why I broke up. Like, I thought that was stupid.
I think he was trying to get out the hot seat when she got bullied by Jay. He was just a piece of me. And I feel like she looked shady as hell when he asked about not being invited. It was hella couples there. She chose to not invite him. Like, I felt like, I don't think it was really like good intentions. Like, oh, I don't know yet. I want to be easy on your foot. No, I think she was like, I ain't fucking with him like that. Her homegirls even know her to be that way. Yeah. So she might not have no little buddy. She just want to get smashed because she grown and she just got a divorce. And that's her too. She needs time to heal. She doesn't have to jump emotionally, but she got to be honest and communicate well.
Yeah. No, I think it's a real ass question because the reality situation is, if you've ever been with somebody and they cheated, they either, like, the cheating is always a response to an underlying issue. So it's like, if we were able to fix this underlying issue or whatever, basically is what she was saying. If did y'all have an underlying issue? Was the cheating the only reason y'all broke up? Because if that's the fact, then there was nothing, like, would you go back to her? It's basically what she asked him without asking him. Like, because if you go back to somebody, that means there was something there. Now, like, I've been with somebody before, and it's like, okay, if I was to remove the cheating aspect, we still got a lot of fucked up things or whatever. Like, and then you've been with somebody where, like, the cheating was just some bullshit that happened because y'all was on a down period. It's a different, like, I think cheating is all bad, but there are different aspects in which people cheat, and there are different relationships and, like, dynamics that play into that. So I got a legit ass question. Like, if she hadn't cheated, where would y'all be? Like, where would y'all be in a relationship if she hadn't cheated? That's a legit question.
And that's true, because it's a period. Y'all still friends. Y'all can still be friends.
Would y'all would have broke up? Would y'all still be together? Like, where would y'all be as a unit if she wouldn't have cheated?
I think if she wasn't acting shady already, that question itself is valid, I believe. But I think combined with how shady she was acting, that's what makes that question feel like, girl, that was bullshit. You pulled that shit. It's like when she's like, what is it, gaslighting or something? Like, she's really causing stuff. She's really not really playing with it. She's just trying to flip it on him. And that's what it felt like. Now, the question itself absolutely is a valid question.
Maybe she was just holding it for a good time. She was holding the question. What was it? She was holding it.
Didn't have a reason.
She was like, what can I do to get out of this? He is a piece of meat.
Yeah. Because I didn't have a reason to break it.
She a savage. Condola a savage, bro. Like, I don't know. She a city girl on the low, y'all. Y'all think them city girls let you know up front what you dealing with.
Yeah.
Condola's a Michelle, and she might be city girl behind your back. You just
That's true. That is true.
I like my ratchet.
Yeah. That's real. Any other predictions?
I'm waiting for everybody else to go before I chime in.
Yeah.
I think Lawerence gonna take a shot at Issa as far as not necessarily trying to get back with her, but trying to see how far he can get with her. Cause, like, I think he interested in, like, him trying to play off, like, with Condola before the whole incident in the kitchen. I feel like he was like, I want to keep her separate just in case. More so rather than keep her separate of, like, I'm done with this altogether. And with that, I think Issa gonna be like, nah, like, I think her emotions are gonna want to lead her to be like, damn, but we did have this and that. But last time we was together, he was self-pitying himself, and I ain't trying to go back to that. And I'm in a better place now. So I think ultimately Issa is gonna be like, I think she's gonna distance herself from Molly, from Condola, from Lawerence and everybody and be in a position to really be like self-sufficient as much as possible. That's what I think is gonna happen.
She losing a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, she's on a high with being this newly found entrepreneur, but like coming into a space where like you ain't got support from your friends. These niggas you fucking ain't really truly helping, you know.
Exactly.
Is man, I like that. I do want to see Issa's healing journey through her just self-preservation. I have to see that. I hope that happens in this season, because like there's so much against her. She reminds me of like a rug that you just need to sage, shake out and sage, and just, don't all these things that have walked over you and allowed you, that has altered what you're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to find a way to really redeem yourself, because she was trying to find redemption through niggas, trying to find redemption through letting go of her career, starting a new one, trying to find redemption in Molly, because she has stated probably in 2 episodes, look at us, you doing you, I'm doing me, like I'm a boss bitch, you a boss bitch, we light each other up, you know what I'm saying? You on your shit, I'm on my shit, it was like that comparison, but it's still like a hit because it's not being her true natural self. And I that's another prediction for the season. I just hope that she goes through this self-preserved journey where she's like, this is who I am, like, you know what I'm saying? That's my thoughts.
I'm sorry. That was heavy, and I got you a whole bunch of shades on there. I don't know who that was about the Molly comment. I'm sorry I didn't catch your name, but I absolutely agree with that. Her character is not set up for monogamy.
Yeah.
That's heavy.
Yeah.
Like that goes back to Brittany Cooper book, Beyond Respectability, when she talks about the options for a Black woman intellectual. That you hit the nail on the head with that one.
Wow. Molly character is not built for monogamy at all.
I don't know. See, I don't know. That bothers me. It bothers me. Go ahead. Go say it again, Moo.
I said I'm not saying she's not built for it. I mean, I'm not saying she can't do it. I'm saying she's not set up for it, meaning that the odds are not working with her with it.
Okay, I get you.
That's what I mean. And it's the same with most of us, right? Like most of my female friends are boss bitches who are living their life in accordance to what they're supposed to do, but most of them are single, right? And so that's because we're not set up. The system ain't set up for us to prosper and be successful in this way.
Yeah,
it's not set up that way. So we know. So I'm not saying that we can't, right? Because a lot of us are getting married.
That's why they gave her character an Asian guy. I think that's why she's outside her race.
You saw Issa say that, right, in her book. She said that Black women and Asian.
About Awkward Black Girl.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, that was she wrote it. She wrote a book, right?
Yeah. No, she talked about the show Awkward Black Girl and the book Awkward Black.
Oh,
so
yeah.
The show in the book is called Awkward Black Girl. So in the book, she talked about, in the show, she had White Boy Jay. She talked about like how she originally wrote him to be Black Man Jay, but that it was just more controversial, more appealing by him being a white guy, and it kind of allowed him to play out this dynamic where her being, not necessarily your cookie cutter prediction or assumption of what a Black woman is, and so you kind of naturally, like you were saying, get pushed into this other category or whatever. And so in the book, actually, this went viral a few years ago, but she made this kind of jokes like sarcastic remark like, oh, since Black women are intellectual Black women are the most what was the term they used? Underfired group of women.
Oh, yeah.
And Asian men are the same thing, then we should come together or whatever. So I see this playing out in the show, is that you have Molly, this undesirable Black woman, and then you have this undesirable character as an Asian man coming together. So that's what I was thinking as well.
Yeah. And let me clarify too. Because as you were talking, I didn't think about, and that's me being very normative in our family reunion. We're not set up for monogamy within our unit, within Black folks. So dating outside. So Brittany Cooper gave a couple of options. She said the Black woman scholar gonna either date outside the race. She's gonna date a shadow man, meaning somebody that's within the race, but he's less than her. So he's just there and won't challenge.
Stedman, yeah.
Stedman. Stedman. But she's gonna date. She's gonna be a variant sexuality, meaning dating women. Or she would date outside the race, or she would just use men for sexual gain, right? Because she still has a fleshly desire and a need to get off. And so she's going to do what she's going to do. So these are our options that are facing us because of the dynamic with our Black men. So even if you are a Black woman who wants Black men, your numbers are limited.
What's the name of this book? I want to read this.
Huh? Beyond Respectability.
Beyond, I'm adding to my list.
Oh, and it's dope. The concept is dope because I didn't get the title till you like dive into it. Because she's saying like dignity is something that is innate within you. Respectability means that someone has to grant that to you. So I'm beyond respectability. You don't dictate me like who I am. You don't tell me I'm respectable. I have dignity, which is within me. You don't dictate whether I'm respectable. So it's beyond respectability.
Now I have a question because that just when you started naming all of like the social standards that we can have, like this man has to look like this. Do you know how many women just like popped in my head? Like, oh, well, that's so and so. That's my mentor. That's my. So like Black men, how do you all feel about our numbers being limited in regards to procreation of our culture? Like, how do you all feel about that?
I mean, that's really nothing I can really say about it. Just niggas is trash. and like, of course, for me, I've never necessarily dated outside of my race, just messed around or whatever. But I want that, Black man, Black woman dynamic. Yeah. So I hear it and I see it all the time. And, a lot of women say that it's just because, niggas is just not really just on their game. You know what I'm saying? I see it. I see many women who dated outside their race and they have, and the comments, the way they deliver it sometimes is kind of like, dang, why you got to say it like that? But I understand it. I understand it. Like, younger days, you know what I'm saying? I seen how my friends acted. I had an ex-homie that I was cool with get mad at his girl for moving out when he was cheating. It's like, bro, you were cheating. Like, how are you mad at this? Like, why am I holding you back from her? Because she moving her stuff out and you mad. Like, wait a minute. Like, why are you doing this? You knew what you were doing. Like,
you move on.
Like, how? Like, she's literally pulled up U-Haul, put her stuff in her, and he's legit mad. And I'm like, nigga, you were cheating. Like, you were doing all of this. Like, why are you mad? And it's just, it's like kind of go back what you said when you talk to your homies. It's like, you can talk to your homies, but at the end of the day, that's when I realized men won't change until certain things happen for them. And it's like, I talked to that man. We sat in the back of my car, talked, back, me and homie, we talked about, and it's just like, at the end of the day, he still never changed. And it's like, I can't, it's just, and I had a conversation with somebody about this, and they were just like, how do you just give up? It's like, it's not giving up. It's just understanding that this is a battle I will never win. Like, at the time, this was my homie. I was trying. We were, like, multiple of us were talking with him because we were growing out of that. A lot of us were going into different phases, and we were going out of that, younger phase, but he was still doing it. He was still messing around, still bringing other women in the house when she was gone. And it's just like, we're growing older and we understand that this ain't right, and we're trying to talk, but he just still was doing it. And it's just after a while, it's like we're talking to a brick wall, and you just get tired of doing it. And it's like, it's not me giving up, it's just understanding this is a battle I'll never win. So that's when I start to understand that I can't, it's certain, like you say, I can talk to the homies all I want, but at the same time, it's just like, if they don't want to change for themselves, I can't do anything about that. There's nothing I can do about that. Like, so, like, back to go back to what was being said. Yeah, it for me, it makes you feel some type of way, because it's just like, man, it as a man, it's just like, dog, it's like we're being looked as like less than now, because like you said, it's a shadow of a man or somebody. There's probably not the proper wording for that. Not less than, but it does.
You date down.
It does. You said what?
You have to date down.
But it does, like I said, make you feel some type of way. But then, like I said, you look at it and you realize, man, it's trash. Men are out here being abusive. Men are out here being, disrespectful. Men are doing this, and it's just like, you want that dynamic to change. But it goes back to the same thing. It's like, you can sit there and talk to these dudes day in, day out, and they gonna turn around, go home, and then text some other shorty while they, like, I don't even. I got some conversations I want to say, but I don't. So I don't want to put that on there. But trust me, it's like, I know somebody who will go home and like turn his phone off simply because he doesn't want anybody texting him, none of his side piece texting while he's at home with his girl. Like, it's just like, he knows what he's doing is wrong. He knows that, and he just still doesn't want to change. And it's just like, I can't, it's just like, I don't know. It's just like, after a while, you're just like, I don't know. So at the end of the day, it's just like, dudes is trash. You know, you just got to surround yourself with men that are better and hope for the better, because at the end of the day, it's like, it's a long line of toxicity that we're trying to break and break down, that it's hard trying to do, because you're trying to unbrainwash something that has been brainwashed into us for years. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's really hard to do that. That's why, you know, I feel it's, you know, we can try to do our best, especially as people who deal with younger kids, try to, you know, instill those values into them at a younger age, because once they get past a certain age, it's a wrap. Their mindset is set. I've told many women friends this. I was like, look, stop trying to change a man, because after a certain age, his mindset is set. There's nothing you can do about that. He's only going to change when he wants to change. So you trying to change that man you're going to waste more energy trying to change him than anything. Time, stress, and energy. So it's just like, it sucks to see that, but I understand it, because, you know, men is trash out here. So it's like, you still want to be happy. So at the end of the day, you know, if you find happiness in somebody from another race, yeah, of course, I want that black dynamic, but it's like, I can't fault you for that, because you're looking for yourself and your happiness.
Yeah.
Sorry that went long.
That was the question I asked. I was like, how do y'all feel about it? And you said, I don't fuck with it, but here's why. I don't fuck with it at all, but I agree, because that's all I was looking for. Because, you know, I mean, I still feel like we don't ask how do black men feel. And I'm trying to make that like normalized. Like, did you hear that? Did you hear this new knowledge? How do you feel about that? You know what I'm saying? Watching Insecure tonight. Okay, how is like everybody feeling? You know, how does Lawerence feel about, you know, being tied between like two women? It's kind of like, now, is he grieving over? Was he grieving over Issa, which made him meet Condola? Now he's about to grieve over Condola through Issa. Like, how are you feeling, black man? What makes this make sense? So, you know, I'm looking forward to tonight's episode for sure. And I'm so full off this conversation. It's crazy. So we at 2:46 now. So we definitely can wrap it up so we can go on with
our. No. I mean, you know, I ain't still gave my prediction. We still have some other black men that had to speak on the topic that needed to.
You know, we're supposed to be on time.
I know.
Before Kev gets his prediction and anybody else give out some closing thoughts, may everyone please add your email to the group chat, so that way we can send you the agenda for moving forward. With you all being in here, you all are considered our subscribers, so we appreciate the support. So if you all can add your emails in the chat, so that way we can copy them down and keep you all in the loop for upcoming events and upcoming, you know, things and whatnot. So yeah, Mike Cole and Miss Henderson, we have yours, but you know, you can drop in the net, we have yours too. But as far as everybody else, can we get your emails so you all can get our updates and infos and stuff? As soon as the world open back up, this definitely gonna be a kickback. We just want
as
soon as the world open back up, niggas gonna be pulling up at places.
Y'all still got to Zoom me, because I ain't there.
We waiting a good month.
Yeah, but we can also pull up in Atlanta any day. Like, we pull up in Atlanta any day.
A whole retreat, Airbnb, what you saying?
Like, we could be in this motherfucker, because Issa said, you know, we can really take it easy.
All right, passing the wine, the blunt, and the cookie.
Hey, I'm trying to tell you, turn it into a black game. Like, because I feel that, you know, okay, that's a good answer.
What was you about to say?
I was going to say, I appreciate all the new people that jumped on, too. We got a lot more Howard fam. A few of my friends jumped on.
Okay.
SFH, Donnell, TJ, we all went to Howard together.
Nice.
Brittany got on the Howard sweatpants, too.
I didn't know who you was talking about, but I didn't know you went to Howard. Hey, so I was like,
yeah.
Okay, Howard probably.
But I appreciate everybody that jumped on.
Yeah, I went to PWI, but yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, you know,
you know what I'm saying?
I wish I would have went to, but I didn't.
Look at us now. We still creatives. Like,
True. But I feel like a part of me is missing out on life because of that. It hurts.
Same.
It hurts.
Honorary.
I feel like I missed out on a
honorary
whole
HBCU
experience.
alumni.
Yeah, a nigga do feel out of place sometimes.
Mhm. Like I be seeing it, I'm like, man, dog, I wish I knew what that felt like.
All right,
I wish I knew what that felt like. Girl.
Damn, I wanna H you. I can't.
You know what I'm saying? I want to know what that feel like, bro. I don't get that.
I ain't even got a Howard shirt. Like, it's crazy. I ain't even got a hoodie.
I got you.
They start making like
I got you
with the Howard. Right. They start making those because like my
I
mama
got
loves
you.
the Mama Howard shirt.
Definitely.
Yeah. I just want to touch the soil. Like, I'm here. I ain't even had it. But the kind of so we can get out of here. I don't know. I kind of have multiple predictions. And it's and most of everybody kind of touched on a lot of them. So one of them is piggybacking off, the conversation that Lawerence and Condola had, how when she dropped that question, it sparked some questions for Lawerence himself, and was just like, yeah, I feel like I still got feelings for Shorty. You know what I'm saying? Even though, shut up, E. It's just like, I feel like he still had those feelings, and he never necessarily wanted to, end with Issa. Just, the cheating happened. Right. So, so he still has those feelings. So when that question pops up, he's already been having some wheels turning in his head. So I feel like that's going to play a part into it, and we're going to see that play out, whether or not Issa is going to accept it or not. That's the question for that prediction, is if she's going to accept it, and, or are they going to end something, or are they going to end the season with, him popping up at the crib and then the episode goes off and something like that, That's one prediction. I kind of agree with everybody breaking up part. Everybody breaking up.
Everybody done.
Everybody's done. That's another prediction, that everybody's just done, except for Kelly, Tiffany, and the foursome is still going. It's going to be I think that's going to create a story in itself of their little their game. If Molly and Issa are beef, and how the four of them going come together and kick it like they used to. That might be something for season 5 that they're going to explore. The fallout of that, how are those two going to deal with the separation of them two? They've been kicking it for so long. Now they gotta think like, oh, I want Issa to come to this, but we can't invite Molly because they beef, or Molly's here, but we can't invite Issa. So yeah, the whole everybody breaks up thing. That's a prediction that nobody kind of gets together. And then it's just like, yeah, Issa and Lawerence do get back together, but then I wouldn't say that. I will say that that's because that's technically part of the first one. I will say that Issa basically distanced herself, because I think somebody mentioned it before. She distanced herself from everybody because she's outgrown it. She's trying to grow into something new, and she's just outgrown everybody. She's going to distance herself. Now, part of me is like, how is that going to go for the characters next season? Because these are all main characters, but I feel like that's what storytelling is about. It's going to be next season would be how they write her growing and meeting new people and venturing out and, meeting new friends that are matching her energy. Or, like I said, it could backfire, and I don't know. So I had a lot of predictions of how this could end and how this can go.
Fire.
I tried to cut it short.
No, I mean, shit. I think all our predictions right in some type of form. I mean, shit, the way the story is set up, we only know how to navigate through our own experiences. So of course our predictions is based off of what we know. I agree. I agree with everybody. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like it's gonna be some shit that's either gonna like have us like, oh, didn't see that coming, or it was like, see, shit, nigga, I knew it. I should have put 20 on it. That's crazy. I should have been dub. But yeah, it's about to be lit. What a great birthday, y'all. Celebrating with us and bringing it in. Our 1-year anniversary of Writers Not Biters. We have had this room, for those who just came in, we've had this room for a full year. And man, the way it's growing and how we're taking our time to tell these stories wouldn't be without the help of y'all support. You know what I'm saying? Like, this conversation will help us create more stories, you know? So, yeah. But any closing thoughts? E, you want to say something, Kev? Do I have everyone's emails? I need everybody's emails. Only have 2, 3.
I don't necessarily. I think you kind of said it.
I wrote them all down though.
Oh, okay, cool.
But I don't. T, you pretty much said all the closing remarks. You know, thanks for joining in, celebrating our birthday. You know, this started from a small idea and some friends meeting up and saying, "Yo, let's just do something." You know, and it's blossomed. So, you know, thank you, appreciate everybody. Can't wait for the actual world to open back up because we got a lot planned. And I'm just ready to drop it out in the world. So that's my closing remarks. E.
Yeah, no, I just appreciate everybody coming out. So I'm gonna just keep it short.
Yo ass drunk.
Empty. Shit.
Look,
That's step one, ain't it?
Ooh, that's on my second.
We got more to come. Next week we're gonna be reviewing Dave. If y'all haven't seen that show, it's a really great show. Very funny.
It's on Hulu.
It's on Hulu, yeah.
What's the show called?
And you can run through the whole season done, but it's really funny. It's cool. So we're gonna be talking about that next week.
It's basically kind of like an autobiographic TV show about Lil Dicky and his story of becoming a rapper and being white and Jewish. It's hilarious. Like I enjoy it. And anybody who is looking for something else to binge watch, that's definitely one of them. Because just to give you a backside of it, he highlights a lot of stuff that's also within our culture that we need to pay attention to, such as Black men and mental health. So, and this is coming from a white guy highlighting a Black man express his mental health and being in the rap game and culture. Shit we need to see.
Yeah. And I think it's going to be interesting seeing a different industry too, because I've never really been in the music industry like that. And so people's input on that, I think that's going to be really cool as well. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Closing out at 3:00. It's lit. It's lit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been 2 hours. Didn't expect it to go this long. But I'm happy.
Well, we said
I already knew.
this is a birthday gift.
Sure, bring it out.
Birthday gift. Yes.
You know, segued into a lot of different conversations that honestly I want us to pick back up again in different topics, you know. It's a lot to talk about. It's a lot to break down, a lot to talk about.
Yes.
I just want to know, Whitney, what are you over there building?
A dollhouse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's random. But I'm building.
Oh, it's
All right. I've been wanting to ask that question, but I was like, the conversation's going on. I just wait till the end.
it's shit you do during the quarantine. Build a dollhouse.
Right. You know.
You know, just so random. Putting the floor in now, you know, and then I'm starting the walls.
Hey, you know, quarantine got her. Hey,
Okay.
9 times out of 10, you might be able to slang that for a blueprint. Get you some paper. Get you some nuggets.
Okay. Mattel can use it. Okay.
I'm just saying.
Some ball power tools and everything. I'm in this bitch like, I like woodwork. I don't know. I didn't know. I discover new passions and shit. Like, I like this.
Hey, that's me and plants, bro. I'm like, oh, so we're friends. Yeah.
I've been putting off playing. I need to get to it. I've been putting it off. Somebody been telling me, Nia, somebody been telling me to get into it, but I've been putting it off. So I'm gonna get into it eventually during this quarantine.
You got time.
I had a question.
Yo.
How does one become part of the writer's room?
Well, sir, what you gotta do is you gotta write 1,000-word answer. No,
you gotta balance a bottle on your head from like midnight to 3 in the morning. It's a lot.
You gotta play hopscotch while reciting some Busta Rhymes.
We haze here.
Yeah, we gotta haze you in some way, you know.
We haze here.
But no, if you are interested in becoming part of the Writers Room, please hit up the Writers Room email, and we will get in contact with you that way.
Yeah. And what does that all entail, being a member?
So the Writers Room, well, technically, Writers Not Biters is not just solely a writers room. It is a production company and a writers room. So we have basically two houses under one umbrella. The writers room will be consistent of people that are going to come together and basically create stories. We're going to create short films, TV shows, movies, whatever we decide we want to create, we will write and create that. That is what the writers room will be. Writers Not Biters Productions will be where we film certain things. So right now we're filming Elijah's web series Toxic. When T's done with her writing and stuff, we're going to start filming her web series as well. So anything that we decide we want to film, or if someone comes to us and say, hey, can you guys, direct and film this for us, then we'll do it that way under the production company side. So those will be the two companies under the Writers Not Biters umbrella.
Dope.
So,
Thank you.
So, it's open for either side. If people don't want to actually join in on the writing side, they can join in on the production side as well. Whitney, you're already doing set design, so
right,
doing prop and set design. So if you want to be a part of that, we are looking for people for that.
You really are. Put up my tools and shit. I'm like,
yeah, it's like, well,
we definitely look at. Hey, when we be shooting, and that's the thing that we look for. Like when we write these scripts, we need that visual eye to be like, this should be shot in a coffee house, but nobody in that bitch with y'all three. So then you, we need somebody to find those angles, and this need a tapestry in the back, because when you're mad, it'll show your emotions. Those type of things. Yeah, that's what our mission is, literally telling stories for us, by us, and how we view it, how we write it, how we speak it, the people that we cast, all of those things are so pivotal to making sure that we are maximizing on showing people themselves through art, because we need to be idolized, we need to be seen, we need to be told, and not through anybody else. And that's the biters part of Writers Not Biters. White people can't write our stories, and we need to quit letting them. If you are ally, if you have been in experiences of understanding Black people, but you can support, but at the same time, don't say oh, this character comes from the inner streets of society and he's a thug. And no, I know plenty of industry thugs, traumatized ass niggas that also hold doctorates. So, those type of things that we need to discuss. Yeah. So we open. We trying to build a family. Shit. Issa Rae can do it. Ava DuVernay can do it. Robert Townsend does it. Keenan Ivory Wayans and the whole Wayans family does it. Mara Brock Akil. I can go on and on and on. They doing it. Lena Waithe, the fuck, doing it.
Yeah.
And we in St. Louis need that. We need that.
I support. I ain't at home, but I'm always trying to support shit back home like this, cause.
But you home. You home.
Yeah, back home. Now I'm trying to fuck with shit like this for real.
Yeah.
So anytime I can support it, I'm down for it.
Yeah, and we'll definitely be in Atlanta too. Don't get it twisted. Defo.
Come on now, that's Black Hollywood.
Okay.
Down there?
We need
coming to Atlanta.
Yeah,
we definitely go to the mall.
Say less.
Go down to the mall and start finding some reality show stars to put in the sets and shit. They out there hanging out, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. We need that. We need extras. We need.
Right. Definitely.
Yeah.
We'll need all that.
But I'll definitely be trying to log in and stuff. I was trying to log in the first one y'all posted not too long ago, but I don't know. I think I got caught up with work or something.
Type shit. You be happy.
Yeah, definitely something I'm trying to.
Well, now that we have your email, for everyone, now that we all have your emails, we will be sending out email reminders and agendas and stuff like that, so you all can feel more interconnected with us. If you have any questions, it'll be right there in that email. If you need us, you got my number. That's how it works. So we all in together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Happy Mother's Day to everybody. Yeah, your mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, over there building a dollhouse and everything. It's lit.
It's lit.
Man, I was trying to find my niece one and I didn't like them. And then I was like, I found a bunch of DIY situations. And so I saw a bunch of models I liked. So I just combined the mugs and two and I sketched that bitch out. So,
Hey.
Prop designer.
like, I was like,
designer.
what my house is going to look like. Yeah, so I got like a little, I wish I could have the my phone so I can show y'all, but it got a pool in it. So I'm building my floor around the pool right now. And then we're going to add an elevator. Yeah.
You bougie with it.
Because
Okay.
that's what I'm saying. I want this house, you know. It's a lot. I hope it come out the way I wanted to though.
Hell yeah, that's a family heirloom. You don't even realize.
Right.
Yeah.
Girl, yes. But yeah.
All right, everybody, it's 3:04. So we're gonna go ahead and call this session an end.
Yes.
It was lovely. It was great. A lot of things discussed. Definitely putting this on YouTube because I want to definitely start some conversation with the pieces that we've talked about. I wish we could have got this on Facebook Live because that definitely would have garnered some other opinions that I would have loved to have chime in on it. But we'll probably get that set up properly next time. But I thank every last one of y'all for coming through.
Real quick, speaking of, what happened to the last one? Is it going to be on YouTube still?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay. Just check.
Yeah. They'll both be up this week.
Right,
but
cool.
Other than that, anybody else before we go ahead and call it quits? No? Okay.
Thank you. I love everybody that came
Love
in.
y'all. Happy
Even
Sunday.
the cameo with the dress and the bow. Beautiful. You know what I'm saying? But no, I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah, me too. Hey, let's looking forward to more. It's coming. More is coming for sure. So get ready, get prepared. Tell your friends to tell your friends.
All right, man.
Yep.
All right. Love you.
Love y'all. Love you.
Peace to everybody.